everyone, and welcome to episode 2 of Tea Time. Yes, we are back. It is me, Villains Marksman, with Bluebelly Gaming, and I hope you enjoy.
So we were talking in the first conversation, the first tea time. We talked about our branding and kind of how we came to the decision that we did, and for the future, So I was talking about how I started a second channel, and that second channel it focuses on farming simulator,
Yeah,
and that's been helpful actually having. Oh,
like a
because then
dedicated.
my viewership knows what I'm about. They know the game, and I
Right.
spe- I tend to focus on old school mods on that channel, and people like that, so they know Bluebelly's the guy to go to for that.
Yeah,
So for the future, because I like to play a lot of different games, um, I'm hoping to potentially start another channel. I know it sounds like too
like a.
much work and probably
Mhm.
no payoff for somebody who's not even monetized. But my hope is that I can have another channel that carries on one of my other themes, where I still keep my style of being helpful and teaching people how to play, but maybe covering other genres of games so that I
Right.
can, for example, one thing that I'm thinking about, and I know you're also interested in sports, but I do really like sports games, and I've done a little bit on my main channel for a game called Out of the Park Baseball, and so I've thought about launching a Bluebelly Sports channel, like where I'm playing simulation games and I'm doing how-to videos, same idea, just with a different theme.
Yeah, yeah, I like that because like I also play a lot of sports games. I never make any content with it though. Like
Right.
like I said in the last episode, I try to keep it all with the one theme, but I guess like future of my channel, I'd like to do a little more of that stuff because I obviously, I played baseball, so I like the sports. I watch football, all that stuff. I cannot get up this ramp. But if I could incorporate that maybe as in a second channel or, some other way, maybe I'll just stream that kind of content. Holy cow. Okay. If that makes sense, I'd like to get into that stuff because I mean the other day it was kind of cool on Madden. Oh dear, I made the whole. I edited the roster of the Steelers and I made the whole 1974 Super Bowl team.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it took all day, but it was super dope. Um, but yeah, just stuff like that. Like I enjoy doing that just for fun, but I also think it would be interesting content. I just
Yes.
don't know how to work that into my brand particular. You know,
Yeah, and I think this is a really good thing for us to be talking about, and for people to be thinking about as they do their make their own brands. Is like, you don't want to segment your audience, but we're not. If you one of the biggest issues that people have with burnout as creators is when they're just like, well, I'm a Call of Duty pro,
right?
and if I try to play League of Legends, people just complain all the time, or whatever, like
Yeah,
whatever their games are. So when you build your audience, but then other times, people love that you're willing to do something unique and different. So you need
yeah.
to reach a certain popularity level, though,
Where,
before people are willing
right?
to give you a chance on variety.
Where they're there for your personality more than your like the content you make specifically.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
And I
That's a.
think with people that are at the level that we're at,
Mhm.
um, you might have a little bit of a following of people who know you for, or who like you and want to watch. But I think building that key main brand and then being willing to do something on the side is the way to go.
Right.
But I would say don't sleep on an idea like that, like your Madden thing you're talking about, because that will bring in a whole other audience. And so,
Right. You could
maybe you
grow.
don't call it
Mhm.
marksman sports games, but you come up with some other related. kind of branding trick
Yeah, I mean,
that
I have about
allows you to have
500
another
brands, so
presence.
yeah.
What's that? I'm sorry.
I said I have a bunch of brands, that I've made throughout the years. I could come up with something different, that
Yep.
is that I just like the balance of connecting that to my main channel, in some
Yep.
way. That way, I mean, if you're gonna do a second channel, you kind of want them to, that content for those people that like that, but them also to follow your main channel and get with the brand as well. So, like I said, it's
Right,
it's
and
very hard to balance, in my opinion. Like
I
at
think
least
there's
to
two
start
different
with.
things. There's two different things working, and that is, we have to remember that creators don't just want to do one thing over and over every day, right?
Right.
Creators are complex people, but so are viewers. And it's entirely possible that there's a Venn diagram of people who like Call of Duty and sports
Right.
that overlap. And so, you might be able to, nice, hole in
Hole in one.
one.
Oh,
Boom.
nice.
um, but it's possible that those people exist, but I think part of what I've been seeing from a lot of like YouTube theory folks lately is, don't just think about your viewers in terms of like, oh, it's people that like Call of Duty montage videos. Well, that's true, but
Yeah.
there are also demographic things that you're looking for, like they're maybe an age range. Not a
Right.
lot of old people are playing Call of Duty, right?
Not
So
last
maybe there's an
century.
age range. Maybe there's like a certain demographic of people. Like your music choice, for example, is
Right.
automatically, gonna influence who wants to watch your
Right.
videos. And that's not a criticism. That's a
Right.
characteristic.
Yeah,
And
I've kind of
when
developed that in that sense. So, you know.
when we make these conscious decisions, like when I do my farm sim time lapses, I play like instrumental country music. Like
Right.
that's an intentional decision because I'm
Hmm.
riding around on a tractor. So
Right.
like
It would be
that's
out of
music that,
place for a rap song because it'd be like
yeah,
you're farming. Like.
exactly. And so I think when we think about our demographic, we don't just think, who are my friends or who do I want to watch this in a selfish way, but you think, who are the people that this appeals to?
Right.
Who's watching the video? And then how do I combine those things to kind of recruit the right people to be watching my videos?
Yeah. Exactly. And like I know for me, being a storyteller, like that's kind of what I like to do. I kind of been thinking about,
Nice shot.
I do make montages, thank you, but like I based on my titles, I kind of have a story going behind them, so
Yeah.
I kind of like to develop like a subtext, like a kind of story based in that, so it's not just non-stop mindless montages, at least to help me as like a creator stay invested in them, if that makes sense, based on music choice or the kind of clips I make.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll do specific, like where I'm just clutching, or if I'm, goofing around, different kinds of that. And that can also help grow my audience. Like I was thinking for the future, I don't have to switch games or do anything crazy because,
Yes.
I mean, I'm not professionally paid to play Call of Duty, but even as an amateur, there's a lot of practicing that goes on. So you kind of, content creation is sometimes second to all of that, but it also helps you, if I'm playing the game 24/7, I can also think about content in that sense and develop some of that. And I found that like super helpful because if I was just playing, nobody watching like all the time, I think that would get really difficult. So I think my channel has really helped with that, because it's something I'm doing no matter what, but to develop an audience and make my own little videos that go along with it, there's kind of helps me. So it just
Yeah.
depends. Because like you said, with the burnout, like that is a thing with it, so it gets kind of difficult because if I'm not enjoying playing the game, I'm not making as much content. So it's really is a type of balance you got to work through as you're thinking about your content.
Yes, and I think that's a really key point to the way that people approach gaming versus gaming content creation. And what can happen is you can end up taking something that you used to love and you can kind of ruin it for yourself.
Right.
So you want to make sure, like, yeah, it might sound like a lot of fun, but do you like to edit?
Right.
Do you like to script or design a story, or are you interested in playing around with it? Because it's not the same as just playing.
Right.
It just isn't. And
There's a lot that goes into making content that can make the game less fun, unless
correct.
you enjoy making the content.
Correct. And I've found part of why I made the switch away from Twitch streaming was that there were definitely nights where I was like, oh, I have to stream, because
Right.
you have to keep a schedule. Or else you won't have any following. And I found myself not really excited to play some nights, but I was playing out of obligation. Whereas if I'm just recording videos, like maybe there's a night that I thought you were going to nail that.
No.
Maybe there's a night that I am not feeling like recording, but I can either do something else for the brand, or I can take a night off because I know, maybe I batch recorded Sunday night, so then I have my Monday and Wednesday videos done, and I don't have to play on Wednesday night that week. Like being familiar with your own working style, which takes it takes a long, that takes practice. That's quite a shot.
No, back in the store. Okay.
But
yeah, it takes a while to set up. Yeah.
It takes some trial and error too of realizing like what you enjoy. I definitely made some videos that, like I had this video idea. I also play a game called Rust, which does not fit my brand at all. It's a very
that is odd. I was
it's like a toxic and kind of violent game. And so one thing, this is sort of a little bit of a side note to the branding point that I didn't talk about in the last episode. Maybe I should have, but I try to make family-friendly content, largely because I have kids, right? And I want my kids to be able to watch my channel. I don't want to be like, oh, you can't watch this episode because Daddy drops an F-bomb. I'm trying to keep things like.
Renash shoots.
Okay, I'm trying to keep things acceptable, not just for my kids' sake, but that's just part of my personality and who I am. And Rust is not like that at all. But all of that being said, I recorded a pacifist playthrough on Rust a little while ago. So if viewers don't know much about Rust, it's a very violent game, and most people play it just to kill each other and steal.
Run around,
it's literally kill, steal, and destroy.
Stuff. Yeah.
So, okay, that was a little too hard. So I did a pacifist playthrough. So when somebody would kill me, I would be like, well, I'm doing a pacifist playthrough. I made that my name. Oh, nice shot. I'm going to max out on this one, I think.
Yeah, pacifist playthrough.
I made that my name, and I went with it. But I ended up with like 7.5 hours worth of footage.
Right.
And as I was going through, like my recording software was messing with me, and I was having a real hard time with it. And there was a certain point that I was like, I really had fun playing that, and I'm just not sure that it makes a good video.
Yeah.
It doesn't even make sense for my main channel, first of all. And I don't know. Oh, stop. I don't know. I was thinking about launching a second or another channel using the stuff. But at the end of the day, oh nice, I got a new hat. At the end of the day, what I really needed to do was just say that was fun, and I'm glad I played. It doesn't need to be content. it's
Hmm.
okay to just be a gamer who games.
Yeah.
And
Right.
has like a whole side of your gaming personality that doesn't necessarily end up being content.
Yeah, I mean that can help you come up with other ideas for the future too. I mean, even if something doesn't work out content wise, you could be like, "Oh, I did like that idea though. It, I can try to do that in the future. Maybe just
Right.
stream this game because I don't want to edit the content, but I think that it's enjoyable to play and people would like watching that.
Well, and yeah, a part of what happened with the Rust playthrough that I really liked was that I did get these good interactions. Like somebody would kill me, and I'd be like, "Oh, I'm doing pacifist." They give me my stuff back, right? Or
Really?
like
That's cool.
in both, I did two different saves and two different playthroughs, and in both of them, I got raided at least once. But like, there were people who were friendly with me when they saw my name.
Hmm.
There was a clan that lived by me in the one wipe, and I was like, well, I don't need sulfur, which is what you use to make explosives. I was like, I don't need sulfur because I'm not attacking anybody, but I could use this other stuff. And so
Right.
these guys were like, sweet, we'll trade with you. They were super helpful. They easily could have wiped me off the server, but
Right.
they were willing to like have me as this kooky roleplay neighbor
Yeah.
because it was fun, and it's somebody playing the game differently. It's an open world sandbox game, and I was creating an alternative narrative, and
Yeah.
that is a video, dude. Like
Hmm.
I want that to be a video,
Right.
but the amount of work that it takes to distill all of that into that story that I just succinctly told you in 30 seconds
Right.
is so many hours. You know this as
Yeah.
an editor. It's
Yeah.
so many hours, and it's like,
Is
what's
this
what's
worth
a
it?
video gonna do like that gonna do? Like maybe
Right.
that's the kind of video that gets thousands of views and people love
Yeah.
it, and it launches a whole new angle for the brand.
Hmm.
Or it's something that you spend 20 hours or some
Yeah.
ridiculous amount of time, and it's all this tedious work, and it gets 20 views, and you're like, why did I bother doing that? So
Yeah.
weighing those things and knowing like maybe that's a really cool idea that I pass on to somebody who's a Rust creator and say, I did this and it was fun, you should try it too. Or
Right.
maybe I join somebody and do a collab with them, and we do it together, but it goes up on their channel. Like that, being willing to take and realize like this is a good idea, but maybe it's not something that
Yeah.
100% suits my main brand.
Right. I mean, you can come up with a lot of good ideas, but you gotta gauge that with your audience and what you're looking to do with your brand. So, I mean, it's not a bad thing to either share that with people that it suits better than yourself. Because sometimes you come up with things and you're like, I think this is a good idea, but I don't think I'm the one that could best execute it. And it's not a bad thing to share that with other content creators.
Right, and an example that comes to mind is like your Madden thing. Maybe at some point I do have a Bluebelly Sports channel,
Right.
and maybe you record that episode of the Madden thing that you did, and we post it on my channel, and
Right.
then I create something that would work on one of your channels, something
Hmm.
where it's not wasted, but you're realizing it works better in a slightly different location or format. Or maybe we create a whole separate channel where we're both posting sports stuff that's
Right.
neither one of us, it's our main thing, but it just gives us an outlet for that.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's a lot that goes with you know when you have your brand set. That's what we talked about last episode. Is like how to get there, but then also in the future, where do you want it to go, and how do you want to branch off from that is kind of like a important thing to think about as you're going through the motions of creating the content that fits your brand. I think it takes a lot of like a lot of thought goes into it, and if you don't rush into anything, basically, just because it's a good idea or you like to do that, make sure you're thinking everything through, because you don't want to have a good idea be wasted, and then you know it kind of is also deflating in that sense
I
if you
agree.
don't execute well. So
And I just have to say, thank goodness for the 17th hole, because
yeah,
without that, this would have been a very close game.
I can't get under 80. I think if episode 3 I'm not under 80, I'm gonna be really angry about it.
Yeah, I
I've
hear
seen
you. I hear you.
2 point improvement, but
Sounds good.
hey guys, thank you once again for watching the video. If you enjoyed, please remember to subscribe to my channel at Villains Marksman, and also subscribe to Bluebelly Gaming on YouTube. Thank you for watching, and have a good day.